another episode of Monday Mornings with Elyse-anne. We returned this week because last week, I received Singaporeans received a very unfortunate and it's a very sad news that our minister mentor has passed on, and I just couldn't do the show because I was really very emotional and I was really upset. And it was like I received the news 2 hours before the show, and I decided to cancel and postpone it. So today is the day that I'm going to be talking about how to build a successful spiritual business. And I think I really believe everything happens for a reason, and because of this obsession that I had with over the past week with honoring our founder, it has given me a lot of insights on what success really means. So one of the main thing that I took away was, this is your business, so you do it, you run it the way you want it, right? So there's nothing to apologize for it because it's your business, and if you as a shining light cannot do what you are here to do, then there's no point getting yourself out there. It's just not wise. So my first advice for you is see how you want to run your business. It is most people start a business and then they fit their business in their lifestyle, but it is the other way. No, they fit their lifestyle into their business. So it should be you fit your business into your lifestyle. And I can say this because I'm a mother. I have 3 children, so I have to play a lot of roles, right? So it'll be crazy if you try to fit your lifestyle into your business. It will absolutely drive you crazy. Then what's the difference between getting a job and running a business? And this is where most people get stuck, right? They find themselves running a business, and then at the end of the day, they think to themselves, hey, it's like a job. But you know what? It really does take at least 1 to 3 years to build a business, and most startups fail within the first 6 months because it's not because their business is a bad idea or they quit, or it fails. It's because people quit, and we all know quitters never win and winners never quit. So if you really want to start a business, then be mentally prepared that you basically have to do a lot to take your business off the ground. Like when the aircraft takes off, most of the fuel is spent not during the cruising period. It is used for takeoff. So in your business, it's like this. So before we even get on to the nuts and bolts of how to build a successful business, you must first be willing. Ask yourself, are you really willing to do whatever it takes legally, morally, and without prostitution to get to where you want to be? Yes? All right, so let's get started. So before we actually move on, I know some of you are new, and if you are new to my work, I help spiritual entrepreneurs. I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs because I used to be a card reader, a healer, and all the woo-woo stuff, and then I transited to now having a global business. When I started, did I think it's going to be this? No, I started off just wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, have enough money to pay my bills, feed myself, don't have to depend on my husband, and that was it, right? That was my motivation to start a business. And I didn't really want to get a job, and I want to stay at home with my children. So that was my motivation. And so today I help spiritual entrepreneurs to build a successful, purposeful business and make meaningful money, and they can live the delightful, rich life that they desire and they deserve. All right. So you can go to this site here. This is my website here. You can go there and check me out. So I don't want to explain more. I want to dive deep into, go further into the mindset and the strategies and what it really takes to be successful. Now, before I dive into the strategies, because the strategies are really basic. You can actually buy a book, How to Start a Business. Google it, How to Start a Business. Go to YouTube and start How to Start a Business. There are plenty of how-tos out there for you right now. But at the end of the day, it's not so much on the strategies. It's really on your mindset and how willing are you to go, or how willing are you to do or not do, and what are you willing to give up and not give up to get to where you desire to be. Because if success is that easy, everyone would be doing it. And since I wouldn't call it the launch, but the the thing about, you know, the secret and the law of attraction, if it's that easy, you just sit at home, everybody would be a millionaire. I would be a trillionaire by now, right? So you know that it's not so easy. Everything, it's about the internal work. Everything begins internally, and then the external happens. So I don't pity you if you are struggling, because I came from a struggling background as well. And at that point, I was victimizing myself. I'm like, poor me, why me? You know, why is God not showing his favor on me, and so on and so forth. And then it came to a point where I realized that there's nothing to do with God. God really has got no, you know, I think he wants me to step up. So one day I was just crying, and I'm like, you know what, this is it. This is it. I had enough of $1 days in my bank. I had enough of just struggling. I literally had had enough. So I decided I was going to do whatever it takes, whatever that meant. So I told God that I am willing to do whatever it takes, legally and morally, and without, you know, any prostitution. I want to be successful. And that's when doors started to open. And then you have to be willing to step into that position. I mean, it won't come in a present, you know, like a gift box with bright red ribbon on top and hey, here you go. No, it's not. It wasn't like this for me. So I remember I was 8 months pregnant then. And then I was new to startups. I wasn't really new to networking, but pretty new. I was new to, you know, like how to start a business. And so there was this opportunity that came, and I went, and so everybody remembered me because I was 8 months pregnant. Everybody's like, are you going to pop soon? Are you going to pop soon? So I stayed there for 3 days. Of course, I went home after the event, but it was, I think, a 56 or 54-hour kind of like continuous event. So obviously people remembered me, and and then from there, opportunities came one after the other. And then when I was, I think, about third week into my maternity leave, I wanted to go for this networking event because I just knew I had to be there. And I gave birth, like, it was the third week after I gave birth. I went there, everybody thought I was crazy, but yeah. So you have to do things like this. So what it has taught me is, if you want to start a business and you're really serious about it and you really want to get your name out there, you have to be fearless, you have to be shameless, you have to be relentless, and you have to be sort of like mad, like madness, right? So you have to remember that. So if there's too much face value, like, oh my God, what would people think of me? Then perhaps starting a business is not for you. Then go get a job, right? So it really does take a lot to have a successful business going on. And of course, you know, now that I'm so much further, my advice to you is to actually get out of survival mode. And we think that, oh, you know, the rich people, you know, when I become rich, then I won't be in this survival mode anymore. And I can tell you that's so not true. And in fact, when you climb to a certain level, you actually have more to lose, because there's, you know, more face. There is like, I have to keep up with my Ferrari, what people think of me, and so on and so forth. So regardless, that is still in the survival mode. So don't think that, oh, when I make 10K, when I make 50K, then I'll get outside. So I think over this couple of months, my journey was to actually learn to detach from money. And money doesn't define you. I hear so many people like say, I want to start a business, but I have no money. Then maybe starting a business is not for you, because you do require a lot of money to start a business. You gotta pay to play. I love that. You gotta pay to play. There's no such thing. If you ever find a business that you can start a business with zero capital or with $100, let me know. I will join you. You know, even like what the MLMs or network marketing, you know, the first capital involvement, it's like maybe $64 and $69, but you forget that you need to maintain it every month. You need to go out and have coffee with people. You need to, you know, buy your own marketing materials, and if you add up, that's actually more than $100. So you have to understand that this is the law of attraction as well, like attracts like, and the law of karma. You know, you give what you receive, and you receive what you get. So the same thing basically, you know. And I think I remember, what's her name? The baby fat lady, what's her name? Kimura Lee Simmons. She said, you got to risk big to win big. So it really depends on how big you want to be. Some people just, you know, so the next question is, what does success mean to you? Why do you want to be successful, right? So some people, like a stay-at-home mom, her definition of success would be a faithful husband, healthy children, you know, children who study well and they're healthy. So that is her success. So what does success mean to you? There's no right and there's no wrong. Everyone's success is different. And as you know, as we journey, our definition of success may change. Obviously, when I was struggling, my definition of success is to make money. And once you know how to make money, then what's your definition of success? So I believe as a woman's, in a woman's journey, it's about finding love. You know, think about when you're 20, 21, you're so obsessed about finding that true love, right? So once you find your true love and then you have things going for you, and then you'll be wondering, hey, you know, love is not enough to sustain my life. I need money. Then, you know, women are like this, you know, love supersedes money, right? And then to a point where, hey, you know, if you don't have enough money in your relationship, you'll start quarreling. Most of divorces happen because of money. Then money comes in. So once you learn how to make money, then you think of, hey, I want to continue to live a purposeful life. So that's typically the journey of a woman, I find. So I'm at the stage right now where I'm at the purpose stage. I want to not be a waste of space on earth. And I get it. Everybody has to go through that struggling phase. And it's just part of life. It's just part of it. And struggling is a choice. It takes a decision. It really takes a decision to not struggle. It takes a decision to thrive. It's really up to you. What do you decide? So for whatever reason, that if you find yourself still struggling right now, you haven't made that decision. You know, 3 years ago, I sat in my room and I made that decision. I was going to do whatever it takes to thrive and be successful. And then that was it. And let me be very honest with you. Once you taper off, once you learn how to make money, and then, you know, that fire in the belly is no longer as strong as when you were struggling, because that fire to get out of this, oh, it's just too painful. So it's either you tolerate it or you don't tolerate it anymore. And right now it's like, you know, I need to find meaning in my work. So if you're just starting out, I really want to propel you and pull you forward and think bigger, because at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, we are creators, right? We create things that are not there. So I really want you to think further. What is your purpose? I mean, you may start really small, right? Like when I started as, you know, doing my crystal thing at home, I didn't think one day that I would host 2,000 of our women globally and have an international business. No, you start from where you are, and then when you are ready, it moves on and it comes, you know, to you, you know. All right. So I want you to really think about, what does success mean to you? Why do you do what you do? So once you get that survival mode out of the equation, only then can you create, you know, only then your mindset is clear and you have clarity. And it's not like, I want to do it for the money. I want to do it for the money. I want to do it. And now people can feel it. And I hope you've realized that you're not the only one doing what you do. Even your neighbor's daughter is probably doing something of that similar sort. So the competition is really high. I mean, whether you like it or not, I don't believe in competition, but this is life. There is competition. So you have to raise your standard and stand out from the crowd. So you're not competing with the rest, but you're competing with it. You're competing with yourself to be the best version of you and the best version of your yesterday self, right? So there's no such thing as competition when you are so clear in your unique gifts. So I want to ask you, why are you here? What is your purpose? You know, it's like, I see so many card readers, healers. Yeah, I get it. You know, that's just a tool. That's a tool to help people improve their lives. At the end of the day, people are not interested in Reiki. People are not interested in card reading. People are interested in the results. People are interested in what can you do for them. You have to remember, it's people always think about themselves first. It's what's in it for me, right? So like this show, to be honest, I'm putting my name out there. I want you to know what I know, and I want you to get to know me, right? So if we are the right fit, then we can work together. But other than that, I am putting my information out there. I'm putting my message out there. I am playing my part, right? So if I keep all my knowledge to myself, then I'm just being selfish. I'm doing a disservice to the people. Whether or not you hire me or whether or not we work together, that's irrelevant. I want to do this because I want to do this. So there's no money involved, right? So when you do your work, you must ask yourself, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do that you will not be paid for? That's your purpose. So when you put money in the equation, it becomes really wonky. So that's why people are saying, oh, how much should I charge? Should I charge my words? Da, 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 da. Money is a very tricky thing. You need to get over yourself. You need to have this internal conversation with you. So most people start, like, I mean, I did the same. I started my business because I knew how to give. I wanted to do something, and then, you know, get paid for it. But you have to understand to a point where the money funds your mission, the money funds your purpose. So essentially, money can come from anywhere. So if you have deep pockets, then you can do your mission. Your mission may not be serving the clients. That is the purpose of your business. The purpose of your business is to serve your clients, serve the people you're contracted to serve and help. Your mission is probably totally different from your business. Your mission could be setting up schools in Africa. Your mission could be hosting free events, free counseling events for the women in your community. That's your purpose. So has it got anything to do with your business? No, it doesn't. So I really invite you to really consciously separate the both, because as women, we cannot compartmentalize our emotions. So it is best that you start right from the beginning and know what's the purpose of your business. Who are you meant to serve? So that's very technical. So in terms of business, it's not enough to know, I know you have a gift, you have a talent, yeah, so what, big deal. Everyone has the same, right? So you need to have certain basic system and structures in your business. I'm not saying that you have to have complex systems like payments. I don't know, like you don't have to have complex. Today I still use PayPal, and I find it really simple to use. The only thing is it takes about 3 to 5 days to get the money from PayPal into your bank account. So that's the only downside. But otherwise, it's easy. People pay and done, and I get the money. So that's, you know, if you have other merchant users, by all means, go use it. I know the big gurus, they have their own merchant accounts. So I mean, it's up to you. But for me right now, PayPal, and it's good enough. So you have to have certain, these are simple basic structures that you need to have for people to pay you, right? You want to make people go through complicated stuff. You know, at the end of the day, pay you, it's not their priority. So you got to make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. So that's one thing. So to get your name out there, you need to have, like I said, basic systems and structures. You need to have a irresistible free offer, to collect database, and so on and so forth. I mean, in the past, when, you know, there wasn't really much of the Facebook social media, so people were collecting database. You know, database means like you get people's email addresses so that you can send them your monthly newsletter or your weekly newsletter or your offers, whatever that you have. So those are very valuable in your business. But now with social media going on, it's easier to get your name out there. So typically in the past, how is it that people become famous? It's through traditional media, right? That's why everybody is crazy about being superstars, because they think this is the only way to get the name out there. But now with social media, it's so easy. You have Facebook fan page, you have YouTube. It's easy to create a channel and get it out there. And in fact, it is much easier if, look at Martin Keep of the Daily Love. Kim Kardashian tweeted him, and boom, his business grew like literally 10,000 over people just overnight liked him. So I think as long as you stay on your game and just stay focused, something will happen. Some big name will notice you, or God will just open the doors for you, and boom, there you go. The only thing is you have to be consistent. If you want consistent income, you need to have consistent marketing. And to be honest, 80% of your time is really spent on marketing and to get your name out there. I have not seen any big time gurus stop marketing just because they hit the multi-million dollar mark. They're still consistently marketing themselves, marketing, right? So there are like 5-7 billion people on earth, and you know, even if you have like 10,000 people on your list, that's not a big thing. You still because you have to understand, it's not an ego game. You got to take it out of your equation. Like, you know, yeah, I have a big list, 5,000, 7,000. Oh, you know, my ego is really good. Like, so you got to take that ego out of your game, out of the situation, and understand that the numbers that's building in your profile, it's not to make your ego go like, wow, you know, I'm like this, but more so on the more people you have on your list, the more opportunities you have to serve them. So it's just a fine line that you differentiate. So you have to train your mind to do so. So going back to no money, I hear this so often, like startup, stay-at-home moms, like, I really want to do this, but I have no money. Da, 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 da. Make that decision. Make that decision. Seriously, make that decision that you no longer tolerate this. You no longer tolerate this. I was struggling for many, many years. Why? I was tolerating. If I knew better, I would have done better, obviously. But I think when you've made the decision, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up, right? But I didn't make that decision. I wasn't ready. And so once I made that, and suddenly boom, 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 it just happened for me. So I really encourage you to make that decision right now. And if you have $5, $10, whatever in your bank right now, you need to tell yourself, like, this is an illusion. This is an illusion. After all, whether you like it or not, you are a good manifester. Just because you're not manifesting the things that you want in your life doesn't mean that you're not a good manifester. You have manifested things that you don't want in your life. So that proves that you are a good manifester, right? So you need to shift your mindset, because for so many years, and we have been conditioned to think that when shit hits the fan, boom, 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 bad things happen. This is how we are wired. So I want you to really train your mind. This is how I train my mind, literally. Like when I find myself complaining, sure, we are all human beings, we're not angels. Allow yourself to emote and do whatever you need to do. And then shift that mindset when it's raining, like, oh my gosh, shit, man, it's raining. Oh, I'm gonna be. So turn your mindset, oh, I'm so grateful for the rain. If not for the rain, the reservoirs won't be filled and there'll be drought and blah, blah, blah. So this will help you train your mind, even in your business when shit hits the fan. All right, so train your mind to look for solutions, because either ways you get it. So either you look for solutions or you look for problems. You want solutions. So train your mind to look for solutions. You don't have the money. All right, so what are the solutions? What can I do? List down all the things that you would love to, have. Lottery is great, but you're just depending on like the external factors again. So think about how you can exchange money. What can you do in your business? Like, start from where you are. Like, people say, I want to serve high-end. I want to serve high-end. Great. Are you a high-end client? I mean, it's very pragmatic. It's very realistic. If you don't know how it feels to be a high-end client, then you'll never be able to attract high-end clients, because you don't know how it feels like. And ultimately, when you serve high-end clients, the expectation rises. It's just like, say, for example, you go to a fast food restaurant, right? It's like $4 or $5. You don't expect much service. But if you are paying $200 a meal, you will be expecting more service, right? Like more, just the ambience and everything. Same thing in your business. So there is no way you can attract high-end clients when you're going for budgets, they're going for discounts, and then it's just no way. So how can you get outside of this? So I want you to first, we all start from somewhere. You need to train your mind, right? First, start with your environment. Clear out junk, clear out stuff, and make your. I'm not asking you to go buy a $1 million house right now when you cannot do it. That's killing yourself. That's irresponsible spending. But you can control your environment. So make your environment as nice as possible. Like buy those, change new curtains, and just make yourself feel good. At the end of the day, we all know the law of attraction works based on emotions, right? So stop going for discounts. Stop asking for discounts. Stop telling yourself like, oh, I want to, but I can't. Because at the end of the day, when I hired my coach, I had $50 in my bank. I had no idea how I was going to pay her, but I made that decision. I was going to do it. And then one client came after the other, and I started from where I was, and then I raised my rates from there. So you have to believe in miracles. Miracles begin when you make that decision. And then you anchor into why you really want to be successful. What is your purpose in life? What have you got to contribute? So, and it is a non-negotiable, right? Like, I don't care. I really want to hire a coach. I literally want that. It's like, it's not even a do or die thing for me. It's a die or die thing for me. So I really want that. And then from that space, you start churning out ideas. How can I make that money? How can I make that money? Through this, what am I willing to do to exchange for the money? I'm not asking you to go like starve yourself or stay up 12 hours and just, no, it's not that. Doing business is not like this. So come up with a package and all that kind of thing. So before you can do that, I mean, initially I didn't have all these. I just had a desire. I just want this, and the clients just started coming in. When you get more established, then you have more time and money to start looking at your customers, at your clients, like who are your clients? Who do you want to serve? Because at that time, I really get it when you're at the survival mode. It's just, I need to get my bills done, da, 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 da. And sure, you still attract clients, right? But if you want consistent, you want to build your business. So you need to study your clients. Who do you desire to work with? Who do you want to work with? You know, the reason why I say get out of survival mode, because I'm sure all successful people tell you at some point they have accepted clients because of money. And I did too. And it was such a horrible experience. Like every time she would schedule a call with me, I was like, oh my God, I would just cringe. And so eventually I told myself, it's not worth it. It's not worth my stress. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth to kill myself and, you know, have high blood pressure. And I told her, you know, this is it. It's not working out here. I basically just refunded her and go. So sometimes it's worth losing that money, giving up. You're actually not losing. You're actually telling the universe that please stop sending me all these kind of clients. So when you get out of survival mode, I know it's hard, but you need to remind yourself. Like I used to put myself in this circle of love. Like the thing is, whether people are spiritual or not, when you focus on money, people will focus on money. So when you get yourself out of the money story and you out of the money conversation and just focus on that person and what is it that I can help you? Be in service. Like what results do you want to get? And then focus on that. People's mind change and you change their mind to, okay, I really want to do this for myself. And then from that space, they will go see how can I make that money. But if you just focus on the money, they're just going to say, yeah, I don't have the money. And what I've also learned that when people say they don't have the money, it's just an excuse. We all have the money. It's just an excuse. So when people say I don't have the money, you don't really want this that much, right? So like Warren Buffett charges $1 million to have lunch with him. People still pay, right? Because he's Warren Buffett. So the question is not whether people are willing to pay you or not. The question is, who are you? What kind of results can you help people get and why people want to work with you? So people have the money. Of course, we are at different phases in life. That's why, you know, there's no lack of clients. Some coaches, some healers charges $10, some healers charges $200, some coaches charges $500, some coaches charges $1 million. So there is this range, there's this spectrum of choices. So you may start off with a $500 coach, and as you go along, you work with the higher end one, right? So right now we're probably not at the space to hire Warren Buffett to, you know, pay him $1 million, but I'm sure when we get there and we see the value, we would do it. So it's really none of your business whether the clients pay you or not. It is your business to work on yourself and to get your name out there and be really focused on what you can help people do. So people, you must remember, it's really what's in it for them. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? How can you help me? It's not the features. It's really the benefits. So when I started my business, I just thought I had a website and domain and then that's it. I just listed all my like healing, Reiki. Who gives a shit, honestly? You know, they don't understand. They want to know how can, after the healing with you, what can I achieve? So focus on that. So I think it's a very simple thing. What can you help people do? But most people are struggling with it. So to even backtrack, I want you to really think about who are your ideal clients? Who do you want to serve? So it's not about, oh, I have no choice. You do have a choice because it's a divine transaction. You want to serve from that space of love and you want to make sure people are paying you happily and willingly and not like, you know, and then have a lot of grants later. So it starts with you. Who are you willing to serve? Who will benefit from your services the most, right? And then go out there, question them. And is there even a market for this? So sometimes our gifts, like, it's very esoteric. And then we think that there's a market for it. But actually there isn't. There isn't enough market for it. So if there isn't, then you have to tweak. And what can I do? And then you really have to find out what your people want. This is marketing. And then talk to them and see what kind of language they use. And then from there, you can use their words and put it up in your website. And from there, you don't have to go hunt for clients. When they come and land on your website, they feel like that you are talking to them. So once you get there, the next thing is to get your website, get your name out there to drive traffic back to your website. So I personally love to use Facebook because my ideal clients are all on Facebook. And so some people are on Instagram, so you go find where your people at, right? So In the past, I would do a lot of local networking to get my name out there locally. So that wasn't a bad strategy for me at all, because from there I got to know a lot of media people, and then I got, you know, I went on magazines, radio. So that wasn't a bad strategy for me at all, because honestly, if you're starting out, it's easier to start locally and then grow to a global market. That's how I started. If you want to know, don't start outside in, you start inside out. That's easier, because, if you get connected with the local media, I'm sure there'll be magazines like Cosmo, Clio, what else? What's the other one? Harper's Bazaar. So I'm in all of these and other local magazines. So once you're in the big names like Cosmo, Harper's Bazaar, people have the concept that you are, an expert. So whatever it is, traditional media is still very, very helpful. So, and then of course in the later years right now on Huffington Post, so that boosted up raised my profile even more, right? So you start from somewhere. So starting locally is much better, because you have interaction with the reporters, the media, and so on and so forth. So your assignment is basically, and ask yourself, how can you get to know these magazine people? Just offer something to help something. So, of course, initially my thing was I was really obsessed. So I called myself the media slut. So I was obsessed with getting myself in the media, and that was what I got. So, and then I would have reporters come in. Do you know of any moms? Do you know this? Do you know that? I knew I wasn't part of the project, but I wanted to help. So my intention was to help, so that when the right project comes, she will remember me. And true enough. So for years, the biggest magazine, the oldest magazine in Singapore is called Her World. It's circulated on Singapore Airlines and so on and so forth. So I wanted to be on there. That was the last magazine that I got on. And since I was good friends with the reporter, and so she asked me for certain help, and then eventually she has this writing gig for Her World, and I got there. And then from there, I have like 3 more other spin-offs to be interviewed as an expert in the love department, because I used to be a love coach, right? So that was great for me. And so start small. You really need to devote yourself being the media slut right now, and see if who can feature you right now, and just get out there, get out there, get out there, get out there. So local networking helped me for that. And so now that this year I decided to put my business online and get out there in the global way. That was it for me, because I think initially when I started, I was so insecure. So I knew I wanted to start locally first, and I was so intimidated with the global market. And so you just have to start from where you are. And now I'm hosting 2,000 women, spiritual people around the globe, and that's pretty awesome. So that's the media coverage. And honestly, frankly speaking, if you really ask me, traffic doesn't really drive from the media. It's just to raise your profile. Driving traffic to your website is through social media and advertising. So I knew I love Facebook, and then I started a Facebook fan page first. The Spiritual Entrepreneurs group I started this year, and it's kind of like grew organically. But I had a fan page. I had to pay for it. It's either you pay or you go viral, right? But you really need a strategy for your Facebook to go viral, so it's easier to pay, right? So therefore, you still need advertising dollars. So you need to have a budget. Every business is a math problem. I think I need this, I think I need this. No, you need to think like a CEO. You need to think like a true business owner, and not some home-based business. If you start treating your business seriously, your business will start producing serious results. So you need to ask yourself, what is your marketing budget? What are you willing to carve out, right? Like, how much are you willing to invest in your business? I told you, like what Kimura says, you need to win. You need to risk big to win big. How much are you willing to risk? How much are you willing to lose? And I can tell you for a fact, in business, everything, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% is really the marketing, and then 20% is actually the doing. So of course, in the traditional marketing, it's 80-20%. You do 80% of the work and you get 20% of the results. That's what it means. But if you work on your mindset, you actually get 20. You just work on your mindset 20%, and 80% is inspired action. So it's still 80-20% rule. So it depends on how you view it. So everything is the mindset. Everything begins in the mindset. Then the strategy works in. Because think about it, right? If you don't feel good about yourself, even if Oprah gives you her blueprint, you're not gonna believe you can do it. So it's about the self-belief, right? So I'm giving you all the technical strategies right now. And so there's so many things going on. There's Pinterest. So you need to really find out what works best for you. What works best for me is Facebook. I love Facebook, and I know all my people are on Facebook. And so now I started a Facebook group, and I started networking with them, interacting with them, getting my name out there. So once, every day one person will know who elyse-anne is. And to start a Facebook group, a lot of people are now wanting to start a Facebook group. I want you to know that you need to first ask yourself, why are you starting a group? What problem or what are you solving in the marketplace? If there are other groups out there, who are already, gathering people there, then would it be more effective for you to go network there, get your name out there in front of the 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 people? Or would it be more effective for you to start a group? So my group is called the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, right? And I see this as a gap. I love networking. I love entrepreneurship. I love startups. And I am spiritual. And I have been putting this spiritual thing in the closet for a long time. And I feel like it is now the time it's there to come up again. And so I prayed to God and I asked him, so what are my next steps? And so on the 1st of January, he gave me this group to start, and therefore I did. And so you may not be, your strategy may not be to start a group. Your strategy may be just network in the groups and get your name out there. And because the people are already gathered for you, right? Of course, the benefits of being the host is you are the host and people will know you and people will want to get to know you as well because you're the host, right? But other than that, you can still get your name out there in a group of 10,000. I have seen that people have not started a group, but they're very active in certain groups and their name is still out there. So you need to weigh what are the pros and cons. So the next thing is, once you drive traffic, you want to capture leads. You want to capture their email so that you can communicate with them. You can build a relationship with them. I've said this many times in the past, people need to see you at least 7 times before they decide to work with you. Now with so many bright and shiny objects coming up, it probably takes about 26 or 7 times for people to want to hire you. So, and I see this in new coaches, new healers, new business owners. It's about getting clients, I tell you, in the long run, if you want to win the race, this is a marathon that never ends. This is a marathon that doesn't have a destination. It's about working on yourself. It's about people can see. It's about leadership, So you can start a small base business and just make 30,000 a year, and that's fine. It's up to you. But I can guarantee you, once you develop yourself, more and more and more will come forward for you. So in short, how to have a successful business. It's really anchor in your purpose and really get out of survival mode. Nobody tells you, not many people will tell you this, but really get out of survival mode. How is to just focus on your service and know that money is going to come. Because, this is my lesson, and I wish that you can learn it in a gentler way. Money used to define me. It used to define who I am. And success means having a lot of money in the bank. But that's not your identity, right? If you allow that, then money still is controlling you, right? So if you really understand why money is here, is to basically support you. So how much money you have in the bank doesn't define whether you're smart. I know I'm smart. I know I can contribute. But I felt there was a need to prove that I needed to have a lot of money to be successful. So I was still in the surviving mode. And this year, the learning curve is great. The learning curve has been really to detach from the money and not having money to define me. So, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to manage money. Learn how to manage your $1. And when you can manage your $1, you'll be given more. So this is how I started. I really started with raising my frequency. Like, I had $1 in my bank, so I just had to manage whatever I had. So I raised my frequency to 500, kept it there for a while, and slowly raising it, and then learning how to manage whatever that I have. And once you learn how to manage that amount of money and you're comfortable with having, as weird as it sounds, sometimes people are really uncomfortable with having a lot of money in their bank account because it makes them feel very responsible for whatever reason. They are afraid that people will come get the money from them. So you need to raise your frequency and be comfortable with having money in your bank, and start from there. All right, it will be worthwhile to start having a conversation with money, having money to support you, because when you say I don't have the money, it just means that you don't trust money is there for you. You don't trust that money is there to support you. So get it right from the start. Money is there to support you. Money is a tool, and ask yourself, what are you willing to exchange, and what are you willing to do to trade the money? I'm not asking you to trade time for money, but it's all services, right? It's all divine. I call it the divine transaction, right? You have something, they need something, boom, that's a divine transaction. It happens all the time. You go to the supermarket, you buy something, that's a divine transaction, right? You go to a restaurant, you want to buy something, you want to eat something, that's a divine transaction. Same thing with your services. So don't think too much about it. The only reason why you have so much emotion is because what will people think of me if I charge this much? People think I'm greedy, blah, blah, blah. But when you have that concept, you are already telling the other person that I don't believe you are worth it. You're not up to it. So when you help people raise their standards, they will raise their standards like that as well. So the next thing you need to do is, once you get over the money story, you need to be willing to invest in your business. I'm not saying it's not saying like you need to invest in a coach or anything, but just invest. You need a website. That's investment, right? Like marketing. That's an investment. Networking, that's an investment. So think about, really chart out your expenses, your budget, your expenses for the business. How much does it take to run a business? And of course, then your daily expenses and blah, blah, how much do you really need and all that. So that's the practical stuff you need to know. The next thing you need to do is, who are your clients? Where are they? What is attractive? I see this over and over again on the internet, right? Even my Facebook group, like schedule a call with me. It used to work in the past, but it's not working anymore because everybody's saying it the same way. So there is this creative element that you need to come in. Yes, business structures is in place, but right now, if you play by the game of no rules, you actually win, because people want fresh. People want to see new stuff. Like in my business, I run it the way I want it. I do my, you got to play the whole tape too. Before I even started my business, I mean, this show started off with a radio show, and then I decided I want to do this and a lot of things. So I need to start thinking, am I willing to do this every Monday? My Monday, your Sunday, if you're in the States. Am I willing to do this every week? You got to play it through, because this is a responsibility. This is a commitment. Am I willing to do this? So you got to play the whole tape through and ask yourself. If not, then don't do it. And what are you willing to do and not do to get your name out there? So for me, I no longer feel like local networkings are, make sense. So I don't do it. I do it online. So what are you gonna do? So craft that all out, right? And the next thing, once you understand what your ideal clients want and whatever is it, what the challenges they're going through, then create a like a gift on your email. I mean, on your website. So you need to hire people to do it for you, unless I self-learn it myself, unless you have the time to learn it yourself. But I can tell you, time is money, and money loves speed. So just hire out. So the other responders and all that kind of thing, you need someone to help you. You need money, right? So what is it that they want to know? Then you craft out your irresistible free offer, and then you build your list from there. And then and they haven't talked about the marketing, your advertising. Some people use the Google AdWords. Some people use the Google advertising. I think that's too troublesome. I tried it. I have no idea how to use it. Facebook is the easiest, so go do it. And then of course there's LinkedIn, and then so on and so forth. So you must know where your clients are at. And then the next thing, of course, is the content. So to craft out the content, you must know what are your clients thinking about, what your prospects thinking about. A lot of people ask me, what if I run out of content? What if I run out of things to say? There will never be enough, that you will never run out of things to say if you're constantly upgrading yourself. You must find time to read. You must find time to study. You must find time to upgrade, because your gifts and talents alone right now, if you're just into a channel and read cards, it's just not good enough. Frankly, it's not good enough, because everyone can be intuitive. Everyone can read cards right now. It's easy. Drawing virtues cards is easy, accessible. They can flip their cards themselves, right? So why you? So you need to upgrade your skills. You need to upgrade and constantly put your pulse in the market and see what they want, what are people talking about. This is 80% of your time. You must go to the marketplace and research, right? So is this what you're willing to do? It's not so easy. I want to blast out something and sell. Even if you say you want to sell clothes, you got to keep yourself up to date with the trend, right? You can't, unless you're like, okay, you're the vintage type, right? But you sell vintage clothes, that's fine, right? But if you are like the modern blog shop, you still need to keep up with the times and see what's the fashion, what people want, and then you still need to keep yourself updated. All right, so whatever it is, you need to keep yourself updated. I think really my key message is to really pull you and propel you to the future, is to get out of survival mode. Just because you have made 10,000, and if you're not out of survival mode, it's never enough for you. So I'm going to go to the Q&A section and see if there are any questions for me. It's a very quiet day today. So if you have any questions right now, it's good to put in your questions via the chat box, or press *2 to talk to me. What are there any questions that you have about building your business, building your list? I once heard a coach mention that if you are very heavily dependent on the internet, what if one day the internet sort of like goes away? I mean, if the dinosaurs weren't a sure thing, then nothing really is a sure thing, right? And what if Facebook just decides to close down? I mean, hey, you don't know. Like, remember the ICQ days? Remember Friendster? It kind of like just went haywire, right? So I want you to have a backup plan for yourself. Be sensible, have a backup plan. That's why I feel like networking, building relationships is the way to go. Everyone's on social media right now. It's just touch and go. Everybody is portraying, I'm just having the good life, the best life, is just showcasing that. And right now people want that human touch, that, that realness in you, the realness in, they want to see the raw side of you. So, and be willing to be visible. Being visible means you got to be like really transparent in your life, and be willing to have people say no to you. And I used to have this huge thing like, oh my God, Elyse is always right. And I used to have this thing, I need to be right. And you need to work on yourself. A lot of part in building business is really your own emotional side, right? And you have to grow and mature as a person, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is about leadership as well as how you lead. So the next question I want to ask you is, would you even hire you? How are you leading you? So a very good place to start is look at your family. It's very painful, but how are you leading your family? If you can't even lead your family well, then what makes you think you can lead 10 people, 5 people, 2 people? What makes you a great leader? Why will people want to follow you? So look at your life right now. Look at your family. Are you a good leader? Are you leading you well? Are you, do you have any discipline in your life? So I want to share with you, like, our minister mentor, I'm not going to talk about politics, but he's such a great man. I mean, there will never be another man like him. He took Singapore from a third world country to now a world-class country in just one generation. Which guy can do that, right? And he had a vision of how Singapore would look like, and he worked towards it. And when he started his speech like 10 years ago, he said, 10 years later, Singapore is going to be a metropolis. And it did. So you need time to build it, and you need to have a vision. You need to have an end goal in mind. How would your business look like? Would you be on stage talking? And then, so if you do, then how can you be on stage and be that woman and be that person? And then you will have a plan, and not have no plan, no clue, no destination. Then how are you going to end there? So you must sort of have and golden mind. Like our Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he died, and whole nation wept for him. I literally could not. I literally cried for 1 week. I never cried for anyone, right? Like, I mean, sure, when my dad died, my grandma died, I cried, but it wasn't 7 days. It was really a huge impact. The nation really literally cried. And I think the things that he has done, that sacrifice, he was obsessed with Singapore. He was obsessed with building Singapore. So you need to be obsessed with your business. You need to be obsessed with building it. So what is your why, right? Like, he had this thing. He's obsessed with, changing lives, making Singapore a better place, giving the citizens, us a better life. So what is your why? You have to be obsessed with, helping your clients improve their lives. And, really, he said, I try to be correct, but not politically correct. Are you willing to challenge people's views and beliefs and know that there may be people who will be throwing rotten eggs at you, and it's okay? Are you willing to make that unpopular decisions in your business? Are you willing to not go with the crowd just because everyone says so? When I started the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, there are a few people who will message me, I want to do this, and I will leave. If you don't do this, then leave. So are you willing to take a stand for yourself and your ground, and be willing to just have a vision for the overall group? Like, what is the best for the group? Make that decision. Like, in my group, I really blatantly and bluntly say, if you're just going to say schedule calls, it's not going to work, because I've tried it. It didn't work. So are you willing to be unpopular in that sense? People may not understand why you make those decisions, but are you willing to stand up and go the other way? Carl Jung talked about the crowd mentality, the herd mentality, right? You look at the results. They're not getting, you're complaining, they're whining, and they're not getting the results. Are you willing to step up and be a leader and lead them to another way? In order for you to do that, you need to look at your life. How are you leading your life? It's a very simple thing. If you can't even lead your life well and be disciplined, who are you leading? Who are you kidding? Right? So Lee Kuan Yew was very disciplined, and most people, I have a routine. It's like Monday, this, and then later on I have a call. I run my life, on a schedule. Are you running your life on a schedule? Mondays is this, Tuesdays are my discovery calls. So I have a schedule in place. I think the next thing I need to do is be more disciplined with my exercise. I have to slot it in. And it's literally that. And Lee Kuan Yew believed in meditation, and he's such a great man. Go read about him. I'm not promoting Singapore, but he is such a great man. You can see when he passed away yesterday for the state procession, Bill Clinton came, the Australian people. There were literally 170 people, came to just send him off. Bill Clinton said he's not only a gift to Singapore, but to the world. So there is a lot to learn from this man. Come on, which 20th century leader do you know that has taken that country from a third world to a first class? So there is a lot to learn from him. All right, his tenacity, his fearlessness, his gangsterism, to talk to the communists, to take a stand for Singapore. So you need to take a stand for your business, right? It cannot be like, oh, one day, someday, and it's not. If that's just, then don't start a business. You really have to be fearless. You got to be a fighter. Fight for your people. Fight for your people and change their lives, because you know that they can do it. That's what leadership is all about. I couldn't do it last week because I wouldn't want you to see me crying. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't. I took 1 week off to mourn and to readjust. And as a leader, you need to take that time off for yourself and be unapologetic for it. And then from that space, you recalibrate, you restructure, and then go on from there. And man, I declare I'm in business again today, because last week I just couldn't. So you gotta just take time off and think for yourself. No questions? All right. I mean, there is no excuse. I want you to know that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. It's you and you yourself. Nobody owes you a living either. All right, so it's up to you and your relationship with God. Talk to God. How? What can I do right now? And sometimes we need to put our ego away. We are so impatient. We want it now. But sometimes you really need to wait. Why? Because you're not the person yet. You're not ready. You're too emotional. Therefore, it's not now. I really believe God always delivers on time. It's not in your time, it's always in His time. Believe it, He always delivers. Believe me, because there are times where I feel like, oh my God, I have no money, and then boom, suddenly something happens. Believe me, you need to have that faith. And running a business, you need to have a lot of faith in your higher self, with yourself, and with God. I mean, we are spiritual, and I'm not even shy to talk. There was one time when I did my first live event, and I was thinking, should I talk about God? Like, it's so weird. What if people just walk away, right? And I told myself, but it's crazy not to bring God up, because it is because of me building a relationship with Him that has gotten me where I am. So how would I? It would be an ingrate, right? Like, to leave Him out of the picture. And I started talking about Him. And I said it was my relationship with God, and I started journaling. I started asking Him questions, and then He gave me the answers. And guess what? Nobody left the workshop. Everybody stayed. And in fact, because I was able to talk about that, and then I started attracting people who talks about God as well. I started attracting people who are on the same path as me. So it taught me that when you fearlessly talk about your beliefs, don't worry about those who like don't want to talk about God. Then they're not your ideal clients. It's fine. It's absolutely okay. So I talk about God very openly and very free, and I'm not even shy about it. And I really invite you to really take the next 1 week to, if you're feeling lost and you're struggling, it means you're not aligned with your mission, you're not aligned with God. You are using your ego self, your ego mind to decide what's for you. And I've tried that. Trust me, I've done another group, a Facebook group. It's called Living the Rich Life with elyse-anne. It really failed miserably. Not really miserably, about 200 people there, because half of them are my friends. And I closed it down. And then 1st of January, I started because it was really an inspired thing. When it's inspired, or is it out of your ego? And a lot of people take massive action. When you take massive action, it's out of ego. When you take inspired action, that's when you will have effortless living. So it may take 1 month, 3 months. Right now it's April. I would be freaking out. Like, I just told my husband, you know what? It's April and I haven't really done anything great in life yet, like this year. Everyone wants to be, I haven't really done anything great. Honestly, I haven't achieved, I haven't done anything. So I have to just go with the flow. I'm not feeling into it. I don't want to create something just because everyone else is creating a program, and I don't want to do that. So there will be a time and space for everything. Think about the season. Season come, season go, right? Nights, sunset, sunrise, winter, summer. So there will be seasons in your life as well. So right now, if you're in the winter time, then I would really suggest talk to God, have that connection with God again, because only from that space you co-create with God, and God opens the doors for you, and then that is when you will touch more people. You are there where you need to be, and it's just really so magical. And of course, I want you to continuously learning, never stop. Read. Find time, carve time out, read, and meditate and journal. This is something that has taken me from where I was to where I want to be. And write a story. Whether you like it or not, you're telling yourself a story that you don't want. You're creating something that you don't want. So I highly encourage you to start creating a story that you want and walk into it. That's what I did. So have a vision. If you have a vision of being on stage and, giving speech, then hold that vision in mind, and then ask yourself, what can I do on a daily basis to pull you there? Systems and structures are basic things that you need. You just need the basic fundamental things. Apart from that is being creative and having a pulse on the market. What do your people want? All right, and working on yourself. It's basically that is personal development for yourself. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have learned, the truth, the hard truth on how to actually build a business. If you're not willing to put in 1 to 3 years of your life, of your time to actually build this, then don't do it, because it's not as easy as you think. Like, hey, it does require work. All right. So if you're not part of my Spiritual Entrepreneurs group, I highly encourage you to get yourself there so that you can get support in your business and hang out with people who are vibrating at the same level and have the same vision, because you need to hang out with people who are I bring the same level to pull you to where you want to be. So peer support is very important. All right, so I look forward to seeing you again next week with a new topic. Let me know what you want me to talk about. What do you desire to hear from? Let me see if I have any last questions. Otherwise, I would talk to you again real soon. See you on the Spiritual Entrepreneurs. Go like my Facebook page, the elyse-anne, and I'll see you somewhere. All right, so see you soon. Bye.